3 bodies tangled in sheets, hearts racing, breaths mingling. This isn't just another love story. It's a confession of desire, betrayal, and unexpected connections. I'm Padme, and I'm about to reveal how one moment of weakness led to a passionate triangle that threatened to tear my family apart. Are you ready to hear the truth about what really happened behind closed doors? It was a scorching summer day when my sister's boyfriend, Jake, arrived at our home. The moment he walked through the door, something shifted in the air. Our eyes met, and an electric current seemed to pass between us. I felt my heart race and my palms grow sweaty. Jake's gaze lingered on me a second too long, and I knew he felt it too. As the days passed, the tension between us grew palpable. Every accidental brush of hands or stolen glance across the dinner table sent shivers down my spine. I found myself making excuses to be in the same room as Jake, all while battling an intense internal struggle. My loyalty to my sister warred with the undeniable attraction I felt towards her boyfriend. One evening, we found ourselves alone in the kitchen. Jake was reaching for a glass on a high shelf, and I offered to help. As I stretched up, our bodies pressed close together. The warmth of his skin through his thin t-shirt made my head spin. We froze, caught in the moment, our faces inches apart. In that instant, all the psychological factors behind Forbidden's attraction came into sharp focus. The thrill of the taboo, the excitement of secrecy, and the intensity of our shared desire overwhelmed my senses. I knew what we were about to do was wrong, but I couldn't stop myself. Jake's hand cupped my cheek, his thumb tracing my lower lip. My breath caught in my throat as he leaned in. The anticipation was electric, every nerve in my body on high alert. When our lips finally met, it was like a dam breaking. The kiss was passionate, urgent, and filled with all the pent-up longing we'd been holding back. But as quickly as it began, reality came crashing back. We pulled apart, both breathing heavily. Guilt flooded through me, mixing with the lingering desire. I could see the same conflict mirrored in Jake's eyes. Without a word, we separated, the weight of what we'd done hanging heavy between us. As I lay in bed that night, my mind raced. The memory of the kiss played on repeat, each recollection sending a thrill through my body. But with it came a growing sense of shame and fear. What had we started? And how far would we let it go? Have you ever felt a hunger so intense it consumed your every waking thought? That's what it was like after that first taste of Forbidden's fruit. We craved more, but the fear of discovery loomed large. How far would we go to satisfy our desires? The days following her kiss were filled with stolen glances and hidden touches. Jake and I began planning secret meetings, our minds racing with possibilities. Finding private moments proved challenging in a house bustling with family. We'd whisper hurried plans as we passed in the hallway or exchange coded text messages. Our first clandestine encounter was in Jake's car, parked in a secluded spot at the edge of town. The thrill of finally being alone, away from prying eyes, was intoxicating. Our hands explored each other with urgency, our kisses deepening as we gave in to our desires. The cramped space only added to the excitement, forcing us closer together. As our secret meetings continued, the intensity of our physical encounters grew. Each time, we pushed our boundaries a little further, the addictive nature of our secretive relationship driving us to take greater risks. We found ourselves seeking out more daring locations, a hidden corner of the local park, an empty classroom after hours, even sneaking into the guest room while my family slept. But with the thrill came constant anxiety. Every creak of a floorboard or unexpected knock on a door sent our hearts racing. Once, my sister nearly walked in on us in the garage. We sprang apart, breathless and disheveled, just as she rounded the corner. The close call left us shaken, but somehow even more driven to continue our affair. The stress of hiding our relationship began to take its toll. I found myself constantly on edge, jumping at small noises and struggling to maintain a normal facade around my family. Guilt gnawed at me, especially when I saw my sister's trusting smile. Yet the pull of our Forbidden's connection was too strong to resist. As the days turned into weeks, our need for each other grew more intense. We planned our riskiest encounter yet, a midnight rendezvous in my bedroom while everyone slept. The danger of being caught in the very heart of my family's home both terrified and excited us. As I lay awake that night, waiting for Jake's silent footsteps in the hallway, I wondered how long we could keep our secret before it all came crashing down around us. As our passion intensified, so did the cracks in our carefully constructed facade. What we didn't realize was that every stolen moment left behind a trail of evidence, slowly leading my sister towards a truth that would shatter our family forever. The atmosphere at home grew increasingly tense. I noticed my sister's eyes following me more often, her gaze lingering with a mix of confusion and suspicion. She began asking pointed questions about my whereabouts and who I was texting. Each inquiry sent a jolt of panic through me, and I struggled to maintain my composure. Jake and I tried to be more careful, but our desire made us careless. We left subtle clues in our wake, a lingering scent of his cologne on my clothes, a strand of my hair on his jacket. My sister, ever observant, started piecing these fragments together. My anxiety skyrocketed. I found myself constantly on edge, jumping at every unexpected noise. Sleep became elusive as guilt and fear consumed my thoughts. I caught myself checking my phone obsessively, terrified of leaving any digital evidence of our affair. The strain of our secret weighed heavily on Jake, too. He became more withdrawn around my sister, his usual warmth replaced by an uncharacteristic awkwardness. Our once easy conversations now felt forced and stilted, filled with pregnant pauses and averted gazes. As the days wore on, I sensed the noose tightening around us. My sister's questions became more direct, her tone laced with an undercurrent of hurt and anger. I knew we were running out of time, but I couldn't bring myself to confess. The moment of truth arrived on a quiet Sunday afternoon. I walked into the living room to find my sister holding Jake's phone, her face a mask of pain and betrayal. Our eyes met, and at instant, I knew our secret was out. The air crackled with tension as she confronted us, her voice trembling with emotion. Jake and I stood there, stunned into silence. The carefully constructed lies we had built over weeks came crashing down around us. As my sister's words washed over me, a mix of relief and dread filled my chest. Our forbidden affair was exposed, but the real challenge was just beginning. How would we navigate the aftermath of this earth-shattering revelation? Just when we thought our relationship couldn't get more complicated, my sister threw us a curveball that would change everything. The next words out of her mouth left us speechless and opened up a world of possibilities we never dared imagine. The air in the room was thick with tension as my sister confronted Jake and me. Her eyes, brimming with hurt and anger, darted between us. I braced myself for the storm of accusations and tears that I was sure would follow, but what came next shocked us all. "I've known for a while," she said, her voice surprisingly calm, "and I've had time to think about it." She took a deep breath, her gaze fixed on the floor. "I love you both, and I can't bear the thought of losing either of you." Then, looking up at us with a mix of vulnerability and determination, she uttered the words that would redefine our relationship. What if we tried to make this work? All three of us? Jake and I exchanged stunned glances. My mind raced, trying to process what my sister was suggesting. A whirlwind of emotions swept through me. Relief at not having to choose, excitement at the prospect of being with both of them, and fear of the unknown territory we're about to enter. Jake was the first to break the silence. "Are you sure about this?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. My sister nodded, a small smile playing at the corners of her mouth. "I'm not saying it will be easy, but I think it's worth trying." As we tentatively discussed the idea, I found myself marveling at my sister's capacity for understanding and forgiveness. The dynamics between us shifted palpably. Where there had been secrecy and guilt, a new openness emerged. We talked for hours, exploring our feelings, addressing our fears, and setting boundaries. The decision to enter into this unconventional relationship wasn't made lightly. We all had reservations and moments of doubt. But as we navigated these new waters together, something beautiful began to take shape. The jealousy I had expected to feel when seeing Jake with my sister transformed into a deep appreciation for their bond. Our individual connections strengthened, and a new shared intimacy blossomed between the three of us. As we embarked on this journey, I realized that love, in all its forms, has the power to surprise and transform us. But I also knew that the real challenges lay ahead. How would we balance our needs and emotions in this delicate triad? Only time would tell. As I reflect on our unconventional relationship, I'm struck by the complexity of emotions we've navigated. Love, guilt, jealousy, and acceptance have all played their parts in shaping our bond. While society might judge us, we've found a connection that feels genuine and fulfilling. Our journey has raised thought-provoking questions about the nature of love and loyalty. Can love truly be shared among more than two people? How do we define fidelity in a relationship like ours? These are questions we grapple with daily. In the end, I've learned that love isn't always straightforward. As Alain de Botton wisely noted, love is a skill, not just an emotion. Our relationship requires constant communication, honesty, and effort. It's challenging, but also deeply rewarding. While I can't predict the future, I know that right now, this feels right for us.